Graduation season is upon us, so this week on the podcast, we're going to talk about key things for parents and grandparents to hopefully maybe teach a new graduate. Let's get into it here on Phil's Tax Hacks and Other Retirement Facts. Welcome into Phil's Tax Hacks and Other Retirement Facts with CPA and personal financial specialist, Phil Putney. Now let's get rolling with today's show. Hey everybody, welcome into the podcast. End of the month here. May, Phil, of 25 is basically in the books. So It's graduation season. So I figured we'd talk a little bit about some things, maybe, financially to share with new graduates as they enter the adulting world. By the way, it's a trap.
That's right.
How you doing, my friend?
Doing good. Doing good.
Got any graduation events to attend on your radar this year?
Oh yeah. There's a couple of open houses we've been getting invitations to for graduates at our church. So happens every year. So
every year. Yep. It's an exciting time. Very cool, right? God, so long ago now.
Life. So
yeah, it was so long ago now. It's
I know.
Really, how did this time? I mean, because like most of us, right? I do my stuff. I'm doing whatever. I do not feel my age until I happen to walk by the mirror and go, "Who's that dude?
Who's that?" Yeah,
right. Yeah. And you used to hear those jokes when we were younger. Like you'd see an episode of some TV show. I don't know why it makes me think of the Golden Girls, but you'd see them talking or something. They would be like, I don't think I'm this age till I look in the mirror, and you think, "Well, how's that possible?" And then you get to this age and you go, "It's totally possible."
That's right, exactly. But the thing for me is, you look back and you can remember your parents at that age that you are.
Yeah,
I'm not that old.
Yeah, I know, right? And then if they're still around, like my mom, she goes, "Yeah." Yep. She's like, "Yes, you are."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But anyway,
and look what you have to look forward to.
Look forward to that for. Yeah, she's got more for me. So let's talk about a few things for the graduates. We'll stop scaring them with our old age stories. Encourage them to start, saving and investing early. I mean, they've made some changes, like even to the Secure Act 2.0. We talked about that on some past episodes. Last year with some of the things that they've done, like if you were doing, help me out here, where you're saving for college, and they made it where you could kind of convert that to a Roth if they didn't use it all.
Yeah, through the 529s.
So, thank you. Yeah, so there's been a lot of good changes. So what's some things to think about, especially if we're trying to teach and say, hey, listen, it's like my daughter, she's 28 now, but once she started working in the Navy after coming out of college, I'm like, get your college debt paid quickly and start pumping away because she gets base allowance housing being in the military. I'm like, any extra money you've got, pump it into your retirement account through the TSP, and it's going to compound for you.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, that's really the key is at this age, time is on their side. They have, hopefully 30 years, in retirement, or in working years.
Yeah.
So that compounding interest is huge, and just helping them understand that it doesn't have to be a lot.
What's it? The ninth wonder of the world, I think Einstein said, or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a matter of starting early.
Yeah.
And start small even, but just start.
Yeah. And get the match. Like if you got a job, get the match, man.
Absolutely. Get the match, and build that habit. And then I always encourage them too that, once you start this, you're thinking, I don't know, I don't want to put that amount in there. I want to spend I've been in college and living off, ramen noodles for how many years. And now I've been able to go buy a steak,
Right.
Absolutely enjoy it, but you're not going to miss this money. And especially if you build that habit in up front.
Yeah.
And then increase it a little bit each year, along the way, as you get a raise, increase that savings, because that compounding over time, I guarantee you, 10, 15 years down the road, you're going to look back and say, I can't believe what I've been able to accomplish in those timeframes. And if you were to delay and start later, you're not going to be able to make that up. It takes so much more if you delay to try to catch up at that point. So.
And it's such a funky thing, right? We all know it as we age. We try to teach our kids or our grandkids or whatever the lessons that we learned the hard way.
Yep.
And as humans, we kind of know fundamentally they're probably not going to take the lesson because we didn't take it from our
human nature.
But you still got to try because it's amazing, like what it can do. Like my wife and I didn't get serious about trying to, change our life and get things in a better financial state. Not because we didn't want to, but just circumstances didn't allow it till we were in our early 40s, really.
Right.
And we've made great gains in that time period, but then you stop, then you go, man, what could have happened if I would have
If I
started
would
this
have
in my
only, yeah,
20s?
yep,
And so you try to instill that down, and it's like, yeah, old person, I don't want to hear your stuff. And it's like, look,
that's
dude,
right.
I'm telling you, it makes a ridiculous difference.
This is my first job. I can't believe how much they're taking out in taxes, and you know, they're
Yeah,
going through
I
all
know.
that
And I
kind of
know it's
stuff,
tough and I know it's
yeah,
tight, right? But to your point, if you can get in that habit, you won't miss it. And think about, Phil, when you and I were in our 20s, I mean,
oh
we're
yeah,
both in our 50s now. It was what, save 10% for retirement.
right.
As doing this, you've been doing this for 30 years now. I'm hearing that they're saying for the younger generation, they need to be looking at 18 to 20, right?
Yeah, I mean,
That's
'cause
crazy.
Social Security is probably going to be there, but it's going to be a much
In a
different
different
scenario.
form. Yeah.
It has to be. You
Yeah.
know, it can't be the same structure that it has for current retirees today. It just mathematically doesn't work. So,
And I get that you probably can't do 20% coming out of the gate at a new
right.
job, but to your point, start something small and then
Yes.
build your way up to it, because at least it's compounding while you're doing it.
Yeah, yeah, and we've talked about that on a couple of the other podcasts. Where don't get overwhelmed by that big goal. Just set it at a comfortable level today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Build that habit. It's all about the habit, because once you've done it, you won't miss it, and then just add a little bit more each year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you'd be amazed at what happens. And the other point of it too is max out the Roth. I can encourage the younger generation, you know, more that the money they're putting in should be in a Roth IRA, because they have that time.
Yeah.
For all that growth to be tax free. I mean, that
For sure.
is going to be huge. You know, I look at my retired clients that I work with today, that for most of them, Roth wasn't even around except for maybe the last 15 years of their retirement. It really hasn't become kind of mainstay except for the last 5 to 10.
Right.
You know, and they're looking back and saying, oh, if I would have had, I can't believe I put everything in these tax deferred accounts, you know, because now they have this huge tax burden. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you know, and I'm going to skip around a little bit on our list. We won't spend too much time on all of these because there's quite a few things we could kind of share with folks. But if you are graduating from college right now, for example, if that's your graduation point, then think about 5 years ago when COVID happened and what not having an emergency fund may have done to you. You might have just been leaving high school going to college, right? You might have watched your parents or whatever not maybe have enough emergency fund, and maybe they couldn't go to work for a while or whatever
they
the
got
case
laid
is.
off or whatever the case. Yeah.
Whatever the case is, right? And right now we're seeing a lot of layoffs and stuff as things are changing. So the importance of emergency fund can't be overstated as well. Get a little something in cash off to the side and do not touch it.
Right. Yep. I mean, build that emergency fund. It's a key financial fundamental
Pillar.
goal to have, a pillar. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, credit cards are great. I mean, for an emergency, but you don't want to let a balance sit on a credit card because they'll eat you alive in the interest rate.
That's the next one, Phil.
You know, so
help them
just
understand. Right.
Have that emergency fund on the side that if you got a car, but all of a sudden it needs a transmission,
Yeah.
where am I going to come up with $2,500 or what? I don't know what the transmission runs today, but whatever.
Right. It's more than that.
Yeah. You don't want to put it on a credit card and I'll make monthly payments on it as they're charging you 20% interest or whatever the crazy number
for sure.
are, so
I just had to change the transmission on a vehicle and it was $7,000. So,
oh my word. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's a little more than 2,500, unfortunately now. So help them understand debt management. You just talked about the credit card. That's the next one on there. Look, I mentioned my kid earlier, right? So it was like, I said, look, you are in a great position versus maybe some of your peers because she went into the military. And I was like, but she still she went to college first and got a degree. I'm like, pay that joker off with some of the extra money that you're bringing in. Get that thing down. And also don't abuse credit cards, to your point, because the interest rate, especially now, I think I was looking the other day at one, I got like something in the mail, right? And it was 32% or something. I was like, are you insane?
It's getting
like
out of hand. It's just that's usury.
That's like loan sharking.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what they do in Vegas, right? Some crazy.
Right. I feel like I had talked to a guy with a crooked nose, maybe that was like, trying to loan me money.
Yeah.
Old school reference there if you're a fan of those movies. But anyway, so debt management, right?
Yes. Yeah. So absolutely have a plan to control debt. And I mean, debt's a tool at the end of the day. It's not a bad thing, as long as it's used the right way. Credit cards, they can be great, easy, but make sure you're putting the money aside if that's what you need to do to pay that credit card off at the end of the month. It's a great way to build credit and have
For
that
sure.
increase.
Yeah.
And potentially even get some perks, right? I mean, there's many cards out there that'll pay you.
Yes.
1
We
to
did an
2%.
episode about credit card management,
Yeah.
right? If you know yourself and you know that it's a dangerous tool for you to have, then don't have it.
Do it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you can handle
do
it
because of the perks, because you're going to get yourself caught in a scenario where I built up all this. And how do you think the credit cards do this, right? They're able to offer these perks because the vast majority of people don't pay off credit cards on a monthly basis.
Right.
They end up paying the 15, 20, 30% interest rate. So they can pay the few people that do pay it off the 2% or whatever it is.
And they're hoping that you're going to pay the 30%, right?
Right.
So,
right. Yeah. So have
which
a plan to
nuts.
manage debt. Student loan, same thing. I mean, have a plan to get that paid off. Because that's going to be potentially a hurdle as you start to look at maybe buying a house.
The Tax Smart Retiree is your comprehensive guide to mastering tax efficiency for a flourishing retirement. You will find indispensable advice and actionable strategies designed to enhance tax savings, maximize Social Security benefits, protect against market volatility, and develop a customized retirement plan. To get your free ebook, click the link in the show notes of today's episode and download your copy of the Tax Smart Retiree right now.
So, basic budgeting principles to share. Classic one. We've all heard it, but it's so flippin' true. You got to pay yourself first.
Yes.
Because, and this is what I kind of switched it a little bit. I was like, look, try to imagine the fact that, 60-year-old you, look in the mirror and 60-year-old you is going, don't forget about me. I'm going to need money. Right.
Yep.
And it's hard to do that when you're 25. I get it. But trust me, 60-year-old you is waiting.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're looking, it's like, 30 years down the road. Are you kidding me? I got lots of time. Right. Well, exactly. I'm telling you, man, it happens like that. Because you look at it's like, I've got 8 grandkids now, or 6 with 2 more on the way coming up in September. So, I mean, it's looking back, I'm like, how is that even possible?
And I guarantee you, when you get in your car, if you're cruising down the road in your vet and you're playing some music that you enjoy, you have no clue what age you are. You think you're 22 years old or whatever, right?
Yep. Yeah. So have a plan to pay yourself first. We talked about that kind of in that first point of putting money into the 401k. Start that savings early. Track your spending. It's, we're not trying to say use the B word, the budget word of have that budget.
But when you're younger, it's helpful. And there's a lot of great tools now for people. Yeah.
There's tons of great tools out there where you don't have to. I mean, back in the day for me, it was Quicken, right? Where you got to enter all the data in if you want.
Or Excel. Just build your own Excel sheet.
Like that, which I mean, you can still do, but there's many tools out there today that will track all the data for you and it'll show you, well, here's how much you spent. Yeah. And it's just a great idea for you to understand. I didn't realize I'm spending X amount going out to eat.
I love that idea. I've never used it, but I love that idea that, what is that, Rocket app or something, where it helps you kind of find what subscriptions, especially when this world is so subscription based.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, right?
Yeah,
I haven't tried it yet, but I mean, you find out, oh my God, I got 14 subscriptions. I thought I had 4, or whatever.
These streaming services, it's
right. Or the food services now too. There's all these, the home delivery food services. And So some cool stuff out there that can, that we didn't have. So very, very cool. Yep. And if you do, look, if you're not a grad and you might not be checking this out because, it's not your, in your wheelhouse, but maybe your grandparents or parents are checking this podcast out. Well, then maybe help them out with some ideas or share this with them. Right. Again, we talked about the Roth IRA, that could be a cool gift, right? You can maybe help set them one up or something.
Yeah. As long as they have a job, this can even happen earlier on. If they have a job, and this might be something to help get them on the right path, even before they get to graduation of, hey, they're in high school even, and they have a summertime job. Well, that's the key. They just have to have earned income, Gotcha. So if you have the available cash and want to help encourage them, say, look, this is the deal. I'll match dollar for dollar or 50 cents, whatever you want to do. 50
sure, that's great.
And I'll put it into a Roth IRA for you. Now, you just have to have that discussion with them because it's their money once it's in the Roth. They can go cash it out the next day and there's nothing you can do about it. So just have that discussion and make sure you know who your kid is.
Well, make sure you let them know about the penalty. That way, that might help deter it.
Help them know about the penalty. But that could be a great way to get them on the right path, to saving, to start to realize, oh, I didn't realize it could grow that quick, or,
Well, you know what? You just said something
works,
interesting. You just said something interesting. Is there another alternative? Okay, you said you got to know your kid or your grandkid.
Right.
If you feel like they're going to run out and cash the money out before you want them to, is there another option that you could help them start an account that you could kind of encourage them to feed, and maybe you're helping feed it as well, but they can't access it for a while?
No, I mean, so there's like the UGMA Uniform Gift to Minors type of account, but I mean, that is going to be theirs once they turn typically 18.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's not like you can put strings or anything on it.
So unless you did like a trust or something, you're kind of
correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, to me, it's more, again, understanding the child that you have or grandchild,
right?
But then education. It's a great educational point to say, hey, this is the deal. I'm going to help you out. We're going to do this. We're going to help you start funding this. I'd encourage you to put some of the money in too, but don't even look at this account. This is for much later down the road in retirement. We're just trying to get you on the right track.
Yeah.
As a saving vehicle. So.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, so, it's graduation season, lots of stuff out there. I think education and trying to, look, we said it earlier. We know a lot of times we'll say stuff and it's going to fall on deaf ears because they got to learn lessons the hard way, just like we did. But you got to try too. Right. So, give it a go.
A lot of times if your kids are like mine, and I mean, it's pretty typical, right? If mom and dad says it, it's like, what do you know?
Yeah. So get the cool uncle to say it.
Have them listen to the podcast, or exactly if they got the cool uncle that, hey, talk to my kid about this. Talk to your
that's usually the category I fall in. As I usually want to fall in the cool cat. My own kid doesn't listen to me very much, but the nieces and nephews and the great nieces and nephews, they're like, oh yeah, Uncle Mark knows what he's talking about. So I was like,
that's right. So it's the exact same thing mom and dad said, but
yeah, exactly. But whatever it takes to maybe help them out a little bit along the way, and help yourself out, right? Because I'm telling you, it makes a world of difference, So we were in this position where we thought the kid was going to go one way. Eventually, some of the information sunk in. She's been going the right way. And that's all you can do as a parent or a grandparent is to try to provide some
encourage and point them in the right direction. And
I
mean, it's awesome to see as they grow and kind of age into their own person where they go. So,
I will say this: if you haven't done it yet, folks, especially younger folks, if you're checking this out, I've even gotten some of my friends who didn't do so well financially until later in life to start playing this game with themselves. Get some money building up in an account and watch it. And as it's great, it's a fun game with yourself, because then you go, wonder if I could get to this number next.
Yeah.
Right. And it's funny because Phil, you and I talk about don't do the whole for retirement, the magic number of $1 million.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to grow your money, especially at a young age, it's a great kind of fun game to kind of help you get excited about seeing that, your savings grow.
Well, I mean, at a younger age, I don't think there's anything wrong with having.
No, not at all.
Hey, let's try to get to this level, and make a game of it. I mean, everything we do in this younger generation seems to be a game,
right?
Which is fine. I mean, so make it a game if that's what it takes for you to kind of grow and set these goals for yourself, and even set a competition. If you got a buddy and you're both trying to do this, all right, let's get to this number first. So
I got to point out the irony of our old thing here, though. So we're saying that, and then it's like, but when you get to 60, no longer worry about that specific money, because then it's about how much income you can generate off the money.
Right. But I mean, that's that shift.
It is that shift, right?
You're saving for this ultimate goal of retirement, which at this age you're thinking, it's never going to happen.
That's true. That's a great point.
But as you get to that age, now it's an entire shift. And I mean, that is totally off topic for this, but that is probably one of the biggest mind shifts.
It's a great point.
Retiree's face is like, wait a minute, I've been saving for 20, 30 years and kind of condition myself to never touch the money. Just let it grow. Don't look at it, But now I'm going to spend it and it's going to go down. Are you crazy?
I inadvertently didn't mean to set that up, but it's totally a great point, right? Because it is one of the hardest things to deal with. I've played this game of let me watch this account grow for 40 years. And now I gotta, not care about that. I gotta worry more about how it becomes income. Well, yeah, because that's the change. You don't need to grow the money anymore. You just need to preserve it and distribute it out to yourself in the form of income because you're retired.
That's the whole point of saving, is because of the retirement age. So
pretty funny. Life's a trip, man.
It is.
All right, good stuff. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks. We always appreciate your time here on the podcast. Share it with others who might benefit from the message. Hopefully, we share useful nuggets of information along the way with people that helps them get to whatever their goals are going to be in their financial world. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and of course here on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, thumbs up, ring the notification bell. Any help you might need, there's links in the descriptions below that you can reach out to Phil, get yourself some time onto his calendar, and have a conversation for your very own. You can also just call him and reach out to him that way. He's got clients. Obviously, he's based in Michigan, but he's got clients all over the place. So just because you might not be in Michigan doesn't mean he necessarily can't help you. So reach out to him at philstaxhacks.com or call 248-888-7530. And we'll see you next time here on Phil's Tax Hacks and Other Retirement Facts. Phil, I think I got to go get in the car and crank some music and
That's
feel
right.
for a little bit.
Play some 80s music. So.
That's right. We'll see you later, buddy.
All right, take care.
Investment advisory services offered through AFS Wealth Management. The content of this program is provided for informational purposes only and is not a solicitation or recommendation of any investment strategy. Investments and/or investment strategies involve risk, including the possible loss of principal. There is no assurance that any investment strategy will achieve its objectives.